Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Scoundrel Cast, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about a few things. First off, Chewbacca and the problems and also the benefits of this event. Also the new Night Sister zombie rework and the effects that have, as well as the re-release of CLS and R2-D2 in a few days time and what that could possibly mean. So let's jump straight into the podcast, and the first topic is Chewbacca. Now this stirred a lot of drama all over Reddit and all over Twitter about how unpopular this event was for people, whether it was complaining about not being able to skip the cutscenes, to complaining about how ridiculously hard this legendary event was. Everyone was complaining from start to finish until they eventually were able to unlock the character. And a lot of people ended up quitting the game as well from not being able to complete this event and so on. And I think that this event was a big turning point possibly for the future legendary events, but there are some positives. It forced people to gear up quite a good faction already. It can help with the bounty hunter events such as the Rebel Roundup assault battle that is coming into the game quite soon, and the faction is already pretty nice. Unfortunately, a lot of people have had to put very high gear on these characters because Gear 12 and Gear 12 Plus are prerequisites a lot of the time to get through this event without spending hours and hours. I've seen some people do it with some Gear 10, 1 Gear 9 and a few Gear 11 characters at 7 star and get a 7 star Chewbacca, but that was after hours and hours and some good RNG. So this does encourage you to use a lot of the bounty hunters and capitalize on the faction and the recent reworks that they have. Now Dengar was a huge help in this, so definitely use Dengar if you haven't. His ability to deny stealth for the other team is absolutely huge and makes R2-D2 mostly useless besides from his burn, so definitely helpful to have Dengar. Also, Bosk is the MVP to run as your leader with a Zeta. If you can't get a Zeta, I'd probably recommend running Boba Fett. But besides from that, those are the free bounty hunter teams that I definitely recommend. Dengar is a must-have. Also chucking Greedo in there because he can attack multiple times and maybe even kill off a character or all their protection in one turn if you get quite lucky. So definitely use Greedo if you can. Greedo, Bosk, Dengar and Boba Fett are the 4 I definitely recommend to get through the event as smooth as possible, but I've seen it be done with other characters as well, so just keep trying until you get the RNG and the luck to complete this event. That is my advice. And the main question that comes from this is, will events now become extremely hard as a consequence of how hard this Chewbacca event was? Now that is definitely a valid question, as this Chewbacca was very hard to unlock even at tier 5. I could start to feel the pressure from tier 2, which was insane. Unlocking this guy at 5 stars and completing tier 5 was super tough, and I'm hoping that not all legendary events are like this, but I can see it in the future as a way to possibly reward the people who put time and effort into factions, or the people who invested in bounty hunters early on and maxed them out for the purpose of maxing them out. Did really well in this event, and it has rewarded those people who don't just get up a faction when the event comes around. So definitely some incentives to start gearing up characters, and hopefully we don't see the events this hard in the future, but maybe a middle ground between how hard the events previously were and how hard this Chewbacca event is, because I think you either love or hate this event, and I don't think there's really a middle ground, so seeing a middle ground is going to be great. But besides from that, that's all to talk about the event. Now, he has some great purpose in a lot of teams, but Chewbacca himself overall I don't really think is too worth it. Some great synergies with Han, but he doesn't really need Han for some teams to defeat the meta, like with Traya, as Mobile Gamer showed that Traya could be beaten with all Jedi, and Yoda and Chewbacca ended up having a pretty good synergy. So I think Chewbacca is okay, but definitely not the caliber of legendaries such as CLS and Thrawn and even Palpatine, who's still running some metas depending on what shard you're in. So I don't think this Chewbacca is game changing, so don't worry if you haven't got this Chewbacca. If you do want to get him in the future, just gear up your bounty hunters and work next time. The events do cycle around, and legendary events have been coming super frequently now, so I definitely recommend upgrading your bounty hunters, because we will see Chewbacca not too far down the line. I'm pretty sure of it, as these legendary events are coming quite frequently now. Now the next big topic is the Night Sister zombie rework. She is no longer useful at a low gear. She becomes the most useful at gear 10, but it is very encouraged to increase her gear, as she is not as good as she used to be at a low gear level. Now I'm going to go through some of the changes. All of this is on the official Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes forums, so let's jump right into this. So there's really no changes to her basic. Her special one, Feed, gives all Night Sister allies 20% health recovery of Night Sister Zombie's max health, so definitely put health mods on Night Sister Zombie to get the most out of this special and keep your Night Sister alive even longer in the heroic Sith raids, or just any Sith raid. Definitely recommend doing that, and especially in territory wars they might be more viable on defense if you increase Night Sister Zombie's health with mods. Her unique Endless Horde has changed quite a bit. If Night Sister Zombie survives damage from an enemy attack since her last turn, she gains 50% speed, stacking up to 100%, and that cannot be dispelled. And if Night Sister Zombie is defeated, she loses 50% speed, stacking, and if she's defeated at minus 100% speed, she cannot be revived. So a low gear Night Sister Zombie be pretty easy to defeat in arena, but definitely watch out for those gear 10 plus Night Sister Zombies, because gear 10 plus is where she unlocks Undying Sacrifice, which is her unique. So Night Sister Zombie can revive after being defeated at minus 100% speed, so this counteracts the Endless Horde unique and makes her pretty much invincible, sort of, I guess. And if she's defeated at minus 100% speed from Endless Horde, the first 2 times another Night Sister ally is defeated by an enemy attack, they are revived and recover 15% of Night Sister Zombie's max health, and Night Sister Zombie is defeated. When Night Sister Zombie is defeated, she loses all protection, dispels all negative speed effects from Endless Horde, and revives with 50% turn meter. This effect does not trigger Endless Horde speed reduction. We get to see that all these negative buffs can be dispelled, and she revives with whichever Night Sister ally is taken down. So she has the chance to die 3 times and revive twice. So this is pretty overpowered and will make the Night Sister Zombies even more annoying than they were before. Night Sister Zombie has had a huge rework, and I think she's one of the most crucial characters in the Night Sister faction now. With her unique, she's become even more of a threat. If she gains up that 2 speed stacking, then she can take more turns, taunt for longer, distracting you from other Night Sister allies, and also get to her unique to recover 20% health for all of her other allies as well. So this is a very nice rework for Night Sister Zombie. I know a lot of people are upset at the fact that there was maybe one character in the game that didn't need to be geared super high, but I think it's appropriate to have this character geared highly, as every other character is geared highly and works well. It shouldn't be fair for a low gear character to be so good in arena and Sith raids. So this rework has boosted Talzin's lead and the whole Night Sister team in general. Talzin's becoming better, which is great. I love Talzin, one of my favorite characters in the game, and this faction is probably my favorite faction in the game, followed closely by Palpatine lead on the Empire faction. The only downside is that Sith raids are a bit more risky, because if Night Sister Zombie has minus 100% speed, she becomes pretty much useless and is not a threat. So definitely pay attention to Sith raid, but I've still seen people put up 8 million score in certain phases with the Night Sisters, so it's a little bit more RNG dependent than before, but I think it still can be done, so just take your turns cautiously, because Night Sister Zombie is quite great if you protect her right. and revive her at the right times. I think she's one of the best characters in the game and has a lot of uses where some characters only have one use. So I definitely like this Night Sister Zombie rework, and I'm looking forward to probably testing her out in my arena. I just have to work on getting her to gear 10 because she wasn't on gear 10 before for me. So the last topic with this rework is that everyone who Zated old Dakar before now gets a refund. This is pretty interesting. Refunding a Zeta is something that barely happens, so it's quite interesting to see this, and maybe this could happen in the future if reworks are done and character Zetas are made useless. So I think this is good to see that the Zetas are being refunded, so in the future this could happen, and overall this will make people less angry with this rework if people are getting 20 Zeta mats and can put this Zeta on old Dakar into someone else. Now finally, Commander Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 are coming back in just under 3 days, and this is pretty convenient. Those who need R2-D2 at 7 stars can now get him to unlock Commander Luke Skywalker, and those who are just on their way to unlocking Commander Luke Skywalker can start to get R2-D2 and prepare their Empire team and get it all ready for the next time R2-D2 runs around and Commander Luke Skywalker. Now the interesting thing is they're pushing out a lot of characters that could be used for a Jedi Knight Luke. So they've just released Chewie, who's definitely a big part of the original trilogy. Raid Han is a big part of the original trilogy. We also have R2-D2, CLS, and that is 5 characters pretty much that can be used to unlock Luke Skywalker, and I definitely think that this is a possibility. I'm not sure how soon. I think the next legendary event might be to unlock the original trilogy Millennium Falcon with the bounty hunters and their ships in the near future, as RG-88 just got a ship, but I do think Jedi Knight Luke is on his way, and we can see that in the near future. Maybe not so near future, but within the next year, possibly, we could see a Jedi Knight Luke being released. He is on the loading screen and has been a really big tease in this game, and I think a lot of people will look forward to unlocking Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So let me know what your thoughts are on all of the topics discussed in this podcast. Let me know if you have any topics for me to discuss in my next podcast. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, just to stay notified with all my uploads. And speaking of staying notified, make sure to turn on those notifications so you don't miss a podcast. And until next time, have a great week.